there and welcome back, where today we're going to be doing a review of Nemophila's new song Adabana, and if I'm correct about the kanji, Adabana means flower, so this is a song called Flower by a band named after a type of flower. Go for that weird titling, I've got no problem with that. Anyway, Nemophila are a band who I've reviewed a few times before, and I always get a very interesting mixed reaction from people when I do this, because we're always honest on this channel, we don't kiss ass. I actually think they've got a lot of potential, but I don't always feel they've been hitting it up to this point. However, my opinions don't really have any reflection on the fact that this is a band who've been doing very well, and all power to them. So, does this song represent a progress for them? Well, as I say, I've always been a big fan of the musicianship. I think they've got a fantastic guitar lineup, as you'd always expect from a heavier band like this. They've got a fantastic singer in the form of Mayu. Just checking the name, yeah, it's Mayu. And also their drummer has always been really on point as well. But in this particular song, one of the things that really works for them is that this is more of a mid-tempo song, heavier, sort of chugs along. Now, coming on to the really big point is, does that work for them? Do they have the more interesting song structure here? Because one of the problems with their previous songs that I've pointed out before is there has been a feeling that although the songs have been somewhat functional, they've come across as a tiny bit derivative, like there wasn't much of a creative spark there. Almost felt like a lot of their songs could well be covers for all you knew. The musicianship, and I say the performance was there, but never really a spark that they were writing songs that themselves really gave them an identity. Well, when it comes to this song, let's first of all look at the individual aspects that make up the track. Firstly, let's go straight to the chorus and say that it actually's got a really good, catchy chorus, and that surprised me. There's a hook on this that would really get stuck in your head, and it's stuck in my head right now as I am talking to you, which is a fantastic sign. It's a song that really does feel like a single. It feels like something that can belong on the radio as well as in a really heavy rock gig, and that is a fantastic thing. Also, the slower tempo song, as I've noticed with some of their other tracks, some of their less famous tracks that you can hear live versions of, the slower tempo, not always my type of thing. I tend to be into the higher tempo songs usually, but for Nemophila, it gives them room to add more creativity through that musicianship quality that is one of their foremost skills. You can really hear that they add the flourishes, they add the things in. And as I mentioned about Tamu, the drummer, she is really on full force here. Really, to be honest, takes the song to her own, especially in that bridge. I will come back to the bridge in a minute, and that's not to take anything away from, again, the guitarists who, as always, are on point. And I think that one of the other people who really stepped up is Mayu on the vocals here, in that there had been some songs where I felt the screamo stuff was overdone, and there had been some songs where you really felt that her vocal talent was shining but didn't quite get enough to work with. Here, that chorus really is something that she chews up the scenery with it. She really goes in and sings a beautiful chorus. You really get to hear her voice. The screamo stuff is used nicely in the pre-chorus to sort of build you up and give you the impression that we're ramping up into the chorus. And as well in the bridge, again, I will come back to the bridge in a minute, but in the bridge, it's a sung bridge. Well, the first half of the bridge is sung in a way that, again, you get to hear her doing more with her vocal range rather than just singing on occasion between guitar solos and screamed bits. So for me, she gets more to work with here, and she really does use those opportunities very well. So let's talk about the song structure in terms of, once again, the chorus being great and the verses. Yeah, the verses, they're pretty good, they're functional, they don't really stand out hugely. They kind of go into a mid-tempo reduced bit, but they thump along, they give you something to headbang and really tap your foot to. Again, it would work nicely in a pop setting, if you, well, I say pop setting, a radio-friendly setting, but also works well in a way that a rock fan can really get into it and they headbang along to it as well. The bridge, though, is where I really think it shines, and as I always say, a bridge can make or break a song. I worry with bands like this because it comes up occasionally, and with Nemophila as well, as a lot of other bands in this kind of genre, that there tends to be that habit of going into the bridge and saying, well, let's take one of the chord patterns we've already done, recycle it round a little bit, and then just get one of our awesome guitarists to twiddle out a solo, and then that will be impressive. And it's like, no, it just feels like basically the band stopped creating anything just so the guitarist could go off on a tangent and then come back round. That is not what happens in Adabana. This is one of those bridges that I really love, one where the guitar solo is a very natural part of what is actually happening. As I say, the bridge comes in with that sung bit, which slightly changes the key of everything, and then the bridge just moves through phases. it builds up, it ramps up. The guitar solo itself is split between the members in a way that you get a different personality, like bouncing between different singers in a group. Like if you had like a sort of Bish-style pop group, or alternate pop group. Sorry, I shouldn't call Bish pop, should I? When you bounce between the members, they might all be singing something similar, but their voices add a different tone to it. And so, as I say, there's just this feeling that the bridge never stagnates. It never just feels like a recycled part of the song coming back around and being played again. It feels like something that's actually there to take you from the second chorus and bring you on a journey through to the final crescendo, which it does fantastically, and again marked by the wonderful musicianship, which is really Nemophila's core quality. Yeah, it's great. So in my opinion, this is one of those songs that is doing everything that I really want Nemophila to do for my own personal taste, to bring them into that sort of next level, bring them from just being a fantastic set of musicians who could be a cover band into being a band who actually have their own songs that are really stand out. Now, the overall conclusion, does it work in total? Gotta be honest, this is where it might be a bit difficult for me to judge. These sort of mid-tempo songs for me, they are a little bit difficult in that I do feel the sort of way they chug along, it can be difficult to get the same sort of excitement out of them as you can get out of a really sort of fast-moving song. It is going for a heavy sound rather than a mellow sound, which is what you'd usually sort of stereotypically put with something more mid-tempo. And in that sense, I think if you are thinking of something, you want something slow, headbanging, it works. It fills in the gaps really well. It's not necessarily playing too much to my own personal biases, so take it with a pinch of salt what I say about it. I think if you are into mid-tempo rockers, then this really is a great example of how to, as they fill in those spaces, do something that moves along nicely, has a great chorus that punctuates everything and brings it around to a sort of a good returning point, a good refrain, I guess is the proper musical term. Also wanted to mention as well in that bridge the fantastic drumming, again by Tamu. Yeah, it's something where everyone is stepping up and adding a little bit of colour to the song. So I really like it. I'm working with the knowledge of my own personal biases, maybe being against songs that are too mid-tempo. But I just think for me, I came away from this with a chorus stuck in my head, a feeling that I'd listened to a really interesting bridge that took me in an interesting direction, and that I'd listened to it all performed by a band who have musical talent and a really good chorus that they wanted to deliver and get stuck in my head. And I'm going to say that's a pretty good sign. That's a pretty good sign as far as I'm concerned. So anyone who was worried that I was going to give one of those sort of, I don't know about Nemophila reviews again, you know what, I've got to be honest, as a fair music reviewer, I think this was a really good song. So I'm looking forward to hearing your opinions in the comments, especially if you're a Nemophila fan, actually. How did you think? Do you think this was a step forward, a step back, or a step sideways? And of course, if you're not a Nemophila fan, say, like me, what you feel from slightly outside of their perhaps core fan base, their target audience. What did you think? Did it maybe convert you to them more, or did you just think, it didn't work for me? I'm really looking forward to seeing what everyone says in the comments, as always, and until I see you hopefully very soon, for now. Ciao, ciao.